Männer, es war ein langer Krieg. Ihr habt tapfer und stolz für euer Vaterland gekämpft. Seid eine besondere Truppe, die ineinander...
Hey everyone, this is Hydra Hut, and this is Cable 155. So in 154, we saw the ending of a really good team, which was John Malin and Ed Brisson. And now we're picking up with, let's get their actual names so I'm not just reading off their last. Zach Thompson and Lonnie Nadler are our writers. We got Peralta, German Peralta as our artist. And then Jesus Aburtov is back as the colorist, which is cool. I think he's a good colorist. I liked him, and he was working on the last one. He's the only guy that's getting carried over, ironically. So when I first found out that Malin and Brisson were being removed from Cable and these guys were taking over, I threw a tantrum online, tagged my boys, and Brisson actually said he highly recommended these guys. The cover, I like the cover. The variant cover that was out there was atrocious. Just cabbage. Ugh. But this is nice. I like this. Totally different art style than what Malin was offering. The actual book. So, I like the plot. I like where the story's going. I think the writing has poor pacing and isn't particularly good. I think the art is... I'm torn on the art. On one hand, I really don't like it. On the other hand, I do kind of like a lot of it. So, as I'm giving a rough idea of what the story is about, I'll just kind of point out my complaints and what I like, I guess. All in all, I would say I would be happier if other people were writing it. The rest of the team I really, really like. But I could just be overly biased and upset still about Ed being gone. So, let's go ahead and get into this. Oh, this is Past Fears Start Here! Exclamation point! Also, this isn't the standard... Is this the very... No, this is the normal. This isn't the standard Marvel... SJW Marvel trade dress. I wonder if they're moving away from that now because they realized it was retarded, or if this is just special for this. Oh, also, digital code. I'll be giving that away to whoever actually watches this video. We already gone over that. So, here's where we start. We start out with a young Cable, and he's basically given a rundown on his power, as he's monologuing his power, and about his history, basically. And as that's happening, we're kind of seeing it live. What his power actually is techno magic, and the only thing that can keep it under control is his telepathy. So this monster is basically this thing that's chasing him is basically a incarnation of his disease. And it's a sentient being, and it's chasing him and trying to kill him. He has to try and keep control of it. And going by his dress, I believe they're telling us that he's Jewish, or I don't know. It's not a yarmulke, but that is definitely a religious cap. I'm just not familiar with it. I don't know. It's an odd choice for a guy whose last name is Summers to put him in this weird, almost Moroccan-style getup. I don't know. Interesting choice. But I think it looks freaking cool. I mean, look at this. Techno monster is badass. This is really just a lot of... These two pages are just a lot of catch-up on basically trying to tell us what happened back when this whole techno virus thing was going on in the canon with Cable. Then we jump forward to Osaka, Japan, where Cable is chasing somebody live. We don't really know who this guy is. We just know there's a girl. This guy is trying, or this guy here, he's like a robot or something. He's trying to kill this little girl here, we're going to find out has some connection. She can talk to technology. So she's going to be, and she'll actually have some control over the technovirus in the future, which makes her very dangerous, which is why people were sent back into the past to kill her. So, this is what I'm talking about with the art I'm not so hip to. I don't like the way Cable is drawn here. It's a nice shot. I mean, it's got perspective. I'm not good enough at art to know if the perspective is done correctly, but I can tell that they're falling down a building, and I think that looks fine. These faraway shots look like they were just kind of real quickly doodled and colored in with not very much definition at all. I don't particularly enjoy that. Here, Cable looks good. Like that. That's fucking cool. I enjoy that. So Cable manages to save the little girl. We find her parents. I think that little girl might end up being Armor. We're going to find out later. Not in this issue, but later on we do. Sorry about that. And then we jump back to the present. Cable's safe house, which looks remarkably like a one-room shack filled with guns. Hopefully his house is a little bit bigger, because that would make me feel really, really sad for Cable. Nathan doesn't need to be treated like that. Then we move back to the X Mansion, where we find Cable's daughter. Oh. Yeah. Where we meet Cable's daughter, Hope. She's staying at the X Mansion. This is Kitty Pryde. You can tell because she's ugly and not very feminine. But I can't blame that on the artist, because that's just canon now. She's just not supposed to be attractive anymore, I guess. Colossus is pity banging her. There's some kind of, I guess, semi-uncomfortable banter back and forth. It seems like both girls have the exact same personality, though. And honestly, it was a little bit boring. Just a little bit boring. But I guess I'm fine with that. Moving on. So, as she's sleeping, well, as she's trying to go to sleep, she thinks her dad appeared in the room, and it's actually this monster we saw from the, well, beginning of the book, technically way, way in the past. He's still alive. He's looking for Cable, or his Nathan, as he calls him. And he actually manages to do some damage to Cable's daughter, and scars her eye the same way that Nathan's is. A lot of story back there. I'm not going to really go into it. I think that's supposed to be Beast Boy. No, that's not. That's not, because that's not right. Universe. Ignore me! Cable shows back up. Talks to his daughter. It's really, really uncomfortable. They don't get along. Imagine that. There's a big apology scene that I think is supposed to make us... See, I feel this was supposed to be reminiscent of Claremont's run of the X-Men Manor, which was just like, if you've read Chris Claremont's new X-Men, some of the scenery for the X-Manor was just amazing garden scenes and stuff, and this is kind of like a really bland, cheap imitation version of that. There's a big emotional scene where they kind of semi-forgive each other, but don't, because it's not clearly... They don't. I mean, they kind of hug, and then they're just right back to feeling the same about each other. It's kind of what I meant by the dialogue not really working well, and each character doesn't have their own set personality. But anyway, we jump back to Cable, who's basically setting himself up to get attacked by that creature, because he is absolutely upset about what it did to his daughter. It, of course, takes the bait. This art is fantastic. I love this scene. The monster is very cool. The dialogue here is much better than it was in the chit-chat portion. And we see it start to basically take form of his daughter, which they don't really explain that so much. I'm sure we're going to learn more about it. But the creature is trying to get into Cable's mind, both physically and verbally. Alright, guys. Here's the digital code for those of you who've made it this far. It should be a little easier to open now that I... Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Come on. Huh? Hey, that seemed easy, even though it was with my left hand. All right. So anybody who's interested in the digital code, there you go. First come, first serve. I honestly don't have any idea if anybody's picked up the ones on my other videos that have it, because if I check, then I'll take the code, and that'll defeat the purpose. As Cable's fighting the monster, we get a whole bunch of flashbacks throughout his history involving this technovirus, and we also get some suggested reading where we can learn more about this, which is nice. That was thoughtful. I appreciate it. Cable's daughter shows up to help him out. They use their powers, their combined powers, to basically subdue the creature, and then we see Cable do something very, very interesting and very, very confusing that I'm not going to show you because I think you should just read this. So while I don't particularly enjoy the new writers, I do like the story. I do like the plot. I like where it's going. Art is passable. Like, this stuff is cool. That's kind of lame. Cool. Lame. Super cool. Anyway, I will say go ahead and buy it. I mean, the writer's only going to improve as it goes along, I would assume. And it's not like you really have a choice. I'm not going to be taking this off my poll. So, check it out, guys. Tell me what you think. Hail Hydra, baby.